All right, people, if you didn't get to do the ones with angles, I apologize. This video, I had a lot of trouble putting it online. But anyway, hopefully this time it'll work and we'll be able to use it. I want to go over with you today about angles. And there's a number of things we need to know about angles that you've already learned in class, and that is number one, how to name an angle, number two, how to classify an angle. And today we're also going to learn how to measure an angle. So, to start with, remember an angle is two rays with a common endpoint. So this would be an angle. All right, and again, if I name this endpoint B, and then I name this C and A, then you could name this angle CBA, because it goes from C to B to A, or you could name it angle ABC, because it goes from A to B to C. But what you could not name it is angle, BCA, because it doesn't go from B to C to A, because you jump over from C to A. So you have to go from the top to the middle to the bottom, or from the bottom to the middle to the top. Or if it's only one angle, you could name it just by that middle point, which, by the way, remember the name of that middle point is called a vertex. We went over this stuff before school was closed down, although I don't know if you remember it or not. But this is the vertex, and you could name it angle B. Now again, you don't need to name it all three ways, but you need to be able to name an angle. And naming an angle goes from the top to the middle to the bottom, or from the bottom to the middle to the top. And the middle is vertex. All right? Now, the second thing we learned is that to measure an angle, we're not measuring the length of the sides. Because believe it or not, this little angle is way bigger than this one. And again, you say, Mr. Dew, you must be cracking up. This little tiny thing is not bigger than that. It is. They go, but look, it's so small. But that's the sides, and remember, the arrows mean these go on forever. So you can't measure how big an angle is by how much you see of the angle. What you're measuring is how much the angle opens up or closes. Okay? So if it can open up a little bit or it can open up a lot. But that measurement of how much it opens up is how you measure an angle. And by the way, they're actually in a circle, there's 360 degrees. All right, I wish I could draw a circle. I wish I could draw anything. Okay, pretty sad circle. But in a circle is 380 degrees. That's why in basketball you have a 360 slam dunk, because you go all the way around the whole circle and slam it down. All right, so if a whole circle is 360, then half of a circle would be 180 degrees. And then a fourth of a circle would be 90 degrees. Because if you took 360 and divided it by 4 to get 1/4, it comes out to be 90 degrees. So, what we're going to use to classify an angle is the fact that it can't open up more than half of a circle, or less than that. So when we talk about classifying an angle, we have three kinds. The first kind we have is an acute angle. And an acute angle is an angle less than 90 degrees. And again, if you look at how much it opens, all right, less than 90 would be anywhere inside of here. So if I had an angle like this, that is an acute angle, because the 90-degree L shape goes up like that. And you can see this doesn't open the whole way, it only opens part of the way. Okay, so it's an acute angle, an angle less than 90 degrees. Then the second kind you have is an obtuse angle. And an obtuse angle is an angle greater than 90 degrees. And again, that would look something like this. All right, let's make it a little more obvious. Something more like this. Because, again, 90 degrees would be that L shape that comes straight off like that. And you can see that this one opens up more than that L shape. So that's an obtuse angle. So you have angles that open up a little bit are acute, and angles that open up a lot are obtuse. By the way, you might say, well, if acute is less than 90, and if obtuse is greater than 90, what is 90? And that's a good question, because a 90-degree angle is called a right angle. And again, you can always tell a right angle by the L shape. And normally, especially if you're a horrible artist like I am and I can't draw exact, if you see the little box in the inside, that's a hint, or that's telling you that it's 90 degrees. By the way, an easy way to remember this is to think of acute as cute things are small. Like you have, look at the cute puppy, or look at the cute baby. You never hear anyone say, look at the cute hippopotamus, because they're big and they're ugly as sin too, all right? But again, if it's cute, it's small, so an acute angle is the small angle. And obtuse comes from the word obese. They both have the same root in Latin, and that means very large, okay? So an obtuse angle, sorry, get stuck tongue-tied. An obtuse angle is a very large angle, okay, like obese. And you say, okay, I get acute is small, cute things are small, obtuse is large, obese is big. But why do they call this a right angle? And I say because of Goldilocks. Not too small, not too big, just right in the middle. And again, we had all of this already, and as I was writing this down, I was thinking, I might have even included this on the last video I gave you. I'm not sure, but I think I might have. But you know what? It doesn't hurt to hear it again. But the one thing I know I didn't include on the last video was how to measure an angle, to see the degree. Because you can look at an angle, and you can know whether it's greater than 90 or less than 90. But if you want to know exactly what it is, you need to measure. And the way we measure angles is with a protractor. And that's that little half circle with numbers on it, starting at 0, counting all the way to 180, and on the other side, starting at 0, counting all the way to 180. So you have two sets of numbers on a protractor, going up 10, 20, 30, 40, and going down 170, 160, 150, 140. And again, you use this to measure the length or the opening or the measurement of the angle. So how do you use a protractor? First, you find the point right in the middle. By the way, the protractors you use will be usually plastic and much smaller than this. And they usually have a little open dot on the bottom where you put it. But you take the very bottom of your protractor and you put it on the vertex. And then you line up the bottom of your protractor with the bottom ray. And then you read where it crosses the top. And again, this one right here crosses just barely over 40. So I'd say 41 degrees. Or if you look at the other way, it's just barely before 140, so it's 139 degrees. So it crosses at a point that's either 41 degrees or 139 degrees. And you go, well, which one should I use? And I say, look at the angle. If it's an acute angle, use the measurement that's less than 90. If it's an obtuse angle, use the measurement that's greater than 90. By the way, it's acute, so I should use the 41 degrees for this one. All right? And by the way, you might say, well, what if it was 42? I don't think I would be that accurate. But some of them, actually, your little plastic organs might have a little line for each degree, and then you could be more accurate. Now, again, just to go over one more to make sure you understand it, if I had this angle right here and I wanted to measure it, again, I would start by taking the point on the protractor and line it up with the vertex, putting it right on the vertex, and then line up the bottom with one of the rays and find out where it crosses on the top. Now this one crosses at exactly either 120 degrees or 60 degrees. And again, which one should I use, 120 or 60? That depends. If it's an acute angle, it's less than 90, so you'll use 60. If it's an obtuse angle, it's greater than 90, so you use 120. And I hope you know that this would be an obtuse angle, so its measurement would be 120 degrees. And again, that's how you use a protractor to measure angles. By the way, I think some of you have already gotten 100% on the topic that dealt with measuring angles. But if you haven't, and if you weren't clear how to do it, this is how you do it. I'll be sending you this video today, and hopefully it'll help you if you are having trouble with either measuring angles, naming angles, or classifying angles, because you need to do all three. You have three different topics with that on it. So again, look for this video.